Coming off the interview I did with Barry Newen last week, we're actually going to be doing a webinar as well. But I thought I'd do a quick deep dive into some of my thoughts on AI and some things I've been sharing on social media this week, including really what needs to happen now, because we're facing a massive acceleration in this technology. It's going at exponential speed and it is changing everything about work itself. Fundamentally, it is going to be a massive game changer. I can see a lot of people in what's called white collar jobs that require sitting at a desk and moving numbers around spreadsheets or words around columns, finding it a little bit more challenging to get employed because this is what AI can do. However, in the health space, the story is a little bit different because health, for one, has always been understaffed. It's very hard to come across health practitioners as opposed to corporate type work where someone posts a job and 1,000 people apply. Yeah, that's not what healthcare is like. You're lucky to get a handful of applicants and hopefully some of them are actually capable of doing the job. Pain, which is the predominant reason why musculoskeletal private practice exists, pain will still exist. People will still experience pain. Whether the technology goes 1,000 times better or not, they will still have pain and they will still want pain relief. Now, what the AI is really, really good at is potentially going to be able to diagnose, because it's not that hard to train an AI in algorithmic questioning to provide such a diagnosis. So honestly, I think you could train up something inside ChatGPT right now to be able to ask the right questions and get pretty close to the right diagnosis. So we can't really win there. And when it comes to objective data-driven analysis, if someone's able to match their patient with the actual data that needs to go into the AI, all of a sudden, fairly low-grade clinicians might actually find that they're quite capable of making very accurate diagnoses as well if they can do their tests correct. And this leads to an interesting smoothing out of the playing field where the average therapist is probably going to be pretty capable. The average AI consult is going to be pretty reasonable at providing the right diagnosis. And AI is also going to be able to provide people with exercises to do. The way it's going to be able to just go, bang, here's a YouTube video, do this exercise. And people will likely follow that, which makes it challenging if you are a therapist whose main role is to provide a diagnosis and exercise-based approaches, because that is something you are going to be in direct competition with artificial intelligence on. And I tell you who's going to win. It's not going to be the $130, $150 a consult physio who's trying to provide the thorough assessment, etc., with a pathway of self-guided treatment. That is not going to be what wins in this scenario, because the AI, I dare say, is going to be free. It's going to be free of extremely, extremely low cost. Or most people will probably be paying a subscription for an AI service, and that's just going to be one of the many, many things it does for them. So where's the gap? The gap exists in the actual physical, hands-on clinical care. That is something that AI in our lifetime, this is what Barry was saying to me, is it's very unlikely in our lifetime that we're going to get technology that can simulate what you can do as a therapist with your hands, that hands-on component. And as much as that might not be trendy amongst the universities, there's also a reality that we have understated the evidence base for manual therapies for a long, long time. And there is a resurgence of manual therapy because guess what? Anyone who's ever experienced pain wants someone else to put their hands on them. Put your hands on me. Make this feel better. Temporary relief is part of the pathway to recovery. Just like when you have a headache, you take Panadol, you get temporary relief. It doesn't cure everything, but it allows a window for you to improve your function and maybe get through the day and get a good night's sleep. Where are we going with hands-on treatment as a profession? We need to go back to the actual roots of what physiotherapy is and get really good at some of these skills. If I go even a little bit deeper, talking about conversations I've had with very experienced physios, the most common thing they say, this is people 20, 25, 30 years out who I've done courses with, the likes of even Jeremy Lewis, literally said to me, the point my career changed was when I did my MANIPS training, which used to be a structured, postgraduate part of physiotherapy practice. People would graduate, they do their MANIPS training a few years later. That was the expectation. And I don't think the market has shifted that much. I think there is a massive, massive market for that. I'm not saying we'll have to be manipping everyone's necks. Don't get me wrong, there's rhyme and reason behind why and how we do things, and it doesn't have to suddenly become chiropractic style care. But hands-on treatment is essentially boxed in. It is the zone which can't be touched by artificial intelligence. There's lots of other alternative hands-on approaches, and guess what? They all exist because it is in high demand. It is always in high demand. Massage, osteopathy, reflexology, whatever you want to call it, all of these things are providing a solution which people can't do for themselves, and they can't pay a bot to do that for them. That is one half of the equation, which I think we need to protect. And the other half is the empathy side. And real empathy, the sort that you only get when you're actually sitting in a room with someone and unpacking, when your patient is unpacking their real challenges and what's happened in their life and why these things have been so arduous for them. That time is incredibly, incredibly valuable. If you've ever dealt with people who have chronic pain or signs and symptoms might preclude people towards chronicity of pain, that process of them unpacking their empathy, feeling heard, feeling listened to, feeling validated, that is a very real human connection. And I think it works best when that's paired with some level of hands-on treatment. We, as a profession, need to stay aligned with what is actually going to be commercially viable for us. And here's the truth. AI can't replace human connection. And at its core, physiotherapy is about human to human connection. So I think all we have to do is continue doing what we do as normal, be really, really good at it, but focus especially on how we can serve people the way one human can serve another, as opposed to this kind of conveyor belt of here's your diagnosis, here's your little written treatment plan, and here's a sheet of exercises to go with it. That is my definition of low value care. I don't care what evidence is out there. I don't see many consumers who are prepared to pay money for that. I'm Shane Gunaratnam, founder of Culture of One. I'm a former practice owner and I'm now a business coach. If you're an owner who owns your brand and wants a specific type of therapy happening within your ecosystem to make sure these service standards are being met, your clients are happy, and your reputation carries further than just your treatment room, perhaps it's time to get in contact and we can have a bit of a discussion about what I can do to help you. Hope to see you in my next webinar, which is with Barry Newen on July 31st, where we'll be diving into AI and the future of physiotherapy. Thanks again. See you in the next video. Cheers.